Okay, well, here we've got a tornado warning out for Rocky Mount in Franklin County, a very dangerous cell popping up, and another cell moving a little bit farther to the north. That may also, it's got a bit of a curl to it. That may also prompt a tornado warning. So a lot going on. Let's get right to it and tell you what's going on here. All right, so we've got the cell in Rocky Mount that is curling up a bit. This is an embedded cell within some heavier rainfall. We'll put the velocity on here, and you can see that we do have a bit of a turn here. You've got to use storm relative velocity to kind of see what's going on. We'll back this up a little bit. This rotation was just to the, just to the north and west of Snow Creek. It then pushed a little bit farther into Rocky Mount. It's somewhat elongated right now, so we aren't too, I'm not seeing a very well-defined system as far as a tornado is concerned, but I do see some broad rotation there near the town of Rocky Mount, just going a little bit farther to the north, that has since been shaved up just around the Rocky Mount area. So this is the new severe thunderstorm or tornado warning. Let's see, continues till 11 o'clock, so it's 11 or 10:44 now, another 16 minutes. Rocky Mount, Boones Mill, Wirtz, take cover now. I mentioned earlier you need to be in a basement or interior room, lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. Well, just don't even come close to them. If you don't have a basement, get into a center room away from windows, close all the doors, and if you need to get in the bathroom or bathtub, having a pillow over you in the bathtub will do more good than being in a regular room. If you do not have a basement, you need to already be in a safe place, maybe a relative or somewhere like that you can get into a defined shelter with a maybe a brick home or something cinder block there. I'm seeing a lot of activity here in the Rocky Mount area, and there's a second area of circulation. You can kind of make it out right there off to the east near Union Hall. This will continue moving up past 220 here, and it will probably move right up against Boone's Mill here within the next few minutes. It's moving pretty fast. This is a look at the actual radar picture there, and you can see it, that rotation picking up there in the green circled area. Very heavy rain up and down 220, so you don't want to be on 220 right now. This is a dangerous storm. I'm looking at different levels in the radar picture just to see if I've got anything that's kind of popping up. We're going to look at the correlation coefficient, and folks, I don't like the look of this at all. This could be debris. This is a real indication of a tornado now, right over Rocky Mount. Rocky Mount may have just got hit by a tornado, and I don't say that lightly because yeah, that's debris. Now it's moving a little bit closer into the 220 area. We've got a debris signature on this, and some, it could be that we just saw some, there it just increased again, shoot. So this is between Rocky Mount and Boone's Mill, moving a 220 north just out of Rocky Mount. A likely tornado could be on the ground north of Rocky Mount. So Rocky Mount may have just been hit. I think in Rocky Mount you're okay at the moment. Although if you did get hit, you're probably cleaning up from this or trying to figure out what happened. But I did see some debris with this warning as it came out. That's not good. Usually you want all cranberry colors in through here. And when you see these lowerings into the, the blue and the green, that's not rain. That's something else. In the case of a tornado warning, it's usually not a good sign. So this is the way it looks for the whole area, and I'll pop up the switcher here. We can get to that. That's where Viper is showing it, and I'm going to move a little bit closer in on Viper radar here. And you folks watching on Instagram as well, appreciate you tuning in. All right, so we're going to use our Viper radar. We're going to go back to our other Viper source. Now this is showing us where the highest wind is. This is an exclusive product that we're showing you here. So I'm going to take the radar picture and dim the radar a little bit. All right, and we're going to dim the satellite picture too, so we can clean this up a little bit and see some of these roads. And where you are seeing that red, that is a moderate amount of damaging wind. So you see 220 right here. It's crossing Blackwater River, it looks like. Also State Route 919. It's heading toward the Grassy Hill area. This is where the tornado is right now. Rocky Mount was hit by this not too long ago. Right around the Rocky Mount area. I had my mom go get into her closet. She may have saw this as well. This is one of the more impressive signatures in terms of damaging wind that I get off Viper radar that I've seen in a long time. That includes some of the bigger tornadoes out in the Midwest. It is somewhat elongated, and notice it's kind of a line right now, but it looks like State Route 641, 919 is the place you want to avoid. Also 220, you don't want to have that be in a situation where you're driving along 220 or know anybody on 220 right now. They need to be off Grassy Hill Road, off 919, off 693. This is headed towards Boone's Mill. So you folks in Boone's Mill on Bethlehem Road, that's State Route 739. You need to be taking shelter right now in an interior room in the basement. Get into the basement, get into that interior room, and if you don't have a basement, if you live in a mobile home, you need to be out of the mobile home and into a ditch, believe it or not. That includes all of Franklin County north of Rocky Mount, right along the 220 corridor. Moving through Boone's Mill, and now the tornado warning has been extended farther north, including the city of Roanoke, Cave Spring as well. This is the area that we're really concerned about because this whole cell looks like we had some kind of confirmed tornado, just about. Radar indicate it, but we did have debris on that radar. And as this continues to move to the north and to the west, it will be impacting Roanoke County very shortly. But for the moment, this is a Franklin County tornado. And so if you go along 220, just crossing the Blackwater River there, and as you make your way up 220, this is just off to your west. So right on 220, it's raining cats and dogs, and there's a lot of wind in that area. But the tornado is likely on State Route 919. And there you see, that's Blackwater River there. So this is this is close to Gogginsville and that area, and the Grassy Hill area. And if it continues this track, it's going to move up 919 right near Bethlehem and Grassy Hill Road, where it comes out there at Boone's Mill. It's State Route 693. So I'm going to continue watching that for you. I'm going to put this is our exclusive future radar that's coming up here. I'm looking right now at the Viper radar, which is showing me where we're seeing the really dangerous stuff. We've got rainfall in here at about 2 inches an hour. Now I'm going to show you future radar. So this is an exclusive product that's going to show us not only the here and now, but where this thing's going to be heading based on its current movement. This is something that updates every 5 minutes and goes out about 2 hours. So if we use that, we can see it does move into Roanoke County here by about 11 o'clock or so. Now, this has it moving closer into Roanoke City. Roanoke City is under the tornado warning, but the National Weather Service here, their storm ID here, shows it more west-northwest, and I think that's probably a better track. So I'm going to turn this on here and put the width up to about 6 miles or so. And we'll show you some arrival times on your screen. Hunting Hills in 12 minutes at 11:03, Southern Pines, Roanoke County, 11:03, Crescent Heights, and Ponderosa Park. Let's extend these on down here and see if we can get some more places here. Penn Forest at 11:04, Old Mill Forest, Pine Acres, and Pinkard Court. Pogues Mill at 11:05. Catawba at 11:28. Salem at 11:20. 11:16, and Cave Spring at 11:07. So not too far away, within about 15 or 20 minutes away from you folks in Roanoke County. There's a second cell that needs to be watched too. It could be near in the Vinton area, and also Hardy Ford, Hardy at 11:30. That one is just off to the east of the main tornado warning. So looking at it now, we've got that most dangerous part now right over 220. I mentioned to avoid that area. Again, this is an exclusive product here. I'm going to put the legend up at the top of the screen so you can see why I'm so concerned here. Now let's see, we'll move the legend down. There we go. Moderate to strong to extreme on damaging wind. So when you get into that red, that's strong indications of rotation and damaging wind. It could be straight line winds, it could be rotating. And unfortunately, that looks like the real deal here going through Franklin County. So again, this is State Route 697. That's Wirtz Road where it comes out there. And then it moves further north up 220. And it's heading towards you in Boone's Mill. You've got the first tornado warning that was issued, and now the second one is out right now. Now, as you continue moving north, you can see that includes Roanoke County, Cave Spring, and that area. I do think that locations near Clearbrook all the way down to Mudlick and Cave Spring, Buck Mountain Road need to be taking shelter right now. I mentioned that second area is right here. You see that? That is near Redwood and right near the Cable 12 facility, actually not too far away from it, just off to the east, right on the west side of the lake. That is also moving in a similar direction. It'll be crossing in the Burnt Chimney and Windy Gap and Hardy very soon. So we've got two areas of rotation that we're concerned about there. I'll continue to watch that for you very carefully. Let's go over to our high-res map here, because this mapping is something I can show you a little more detail too. There you see flashing the tornado warning. And again, that is in effect until for another 35 minutes until 11:30. Spread thunderstorm capable of producing a tornadoes over Wirtz, moving northwest at 25 miles per hour. Of course, flying debris is always a danger with this. Roanoke, Vinton, Boone's Mill, Pogues Mill, Cave Spring, Wirtz, and Roanoke Mountain. Take cover now. Move to an basement or interior room of the floor of a sturdy building. That's along 220 in Franklin County. They mentioned here tornadoes extremely difficult to see and confirm at night. Do not wait on it. You need to be on guard for this when it's safe to do so. If it's safe to do so, you can pass along your damage reports there. Still seeing a very tight circulation here around Little Mountain and Taylor. There you see this is 220 moving into the Boone's Mill area. Murray Knobs also in this tornado warning. Right near Little Mountain. So we're going to go in a little closer. There's Virgil H. Good Highway. That's 220. And then as you move in a little bit closer here, there's Franco Drive, Clower Knob, right near the cemetery there. Okay. And then as you move up a little bit farther to the north, we've got that circulation near a Boone's Mill Elementary School. Franklin County schools are closed. That's a good thing. It'll be closed for Friday as well. Taylor's Road is in the path of this, so if you're near Taylor or Taylor's Road, you need to take shelter. That includes some of these other roads that branch off of Taylor's Road, including Flora, LeFew Lane. And again, I mentioned Grassy Hill Road. Need to be taking shelter, Boone's Mill Road and the Boone's Mill itself. And that would include some of these back roads around Wirtz, Gilmer Branch Road. That's a back road that kind of takes you across the Wirtz area. They're under the gun as well. Just had some wind gusting outside, just as I mentioned that here at my house. I'm south of that tornado warning, but there's a second one that I'm watching here. Take you back to Viper radar now. And there you see the core of that wind. Just about to cross now 691. That's Taylor's Road. It's still holding together. This is a very pronounced area of damaging wind that's being picked up by this possible tornado, likely tornado, including a lot of this that I'm seeing. Now, the rotation indicator here is lit up as well. You can see we had 3 areas of rotation in the yellow, and then we had them consolidate here right over Rocky Mount. So this is where it tracked. Looks like right over Rocky Mount, unfortunately, on the northwest side there, and then it continued up 220. It continues right now up 220, and we'll continue to show you this as well. That includes Starkey and Roanoke and then this tornado warning, and again, that is in effect until 11:30. So another half hour. You can see the rotation's actually been increasing. You get out of the grays and into some of the brighter yellows here where you're seeing that. So have everybody, your friends that live in Roanoke, the city of Roanoke, parts of Vinton, Roanoke County, South County there near Clearbrook, Cave Spring. Also, if you know anybody in Boone's Mill, have them taking shelter right now. If you don't think they are watching this or have access to an alert, make sure you text them and say, hey, get the shelter right now, because this is one of the more serious tornado warnings that you'll ever see. This is a prolific weather setup, unfortunately, for the area. Here's the latest high-res loop, and you can see that second cell that I'm watching there in between Rocky Mount and Westlake. That's near Burnt Chimney right now. Now it looks like this is near Boone's Mill. It continues pushing off to the north here. The circulation itself is right over Boone's Mill. It's starting to move into Roanoke County as we speak, and you can see some high winds in here of about 47 miles per hour, at least picked up by the radar, but we could be seeing even more than that. I still see some debris in the air as well. It's not consolidated as if it's a tight area of debris. So I don't know if I see a debris ball. I do see debris though. That's likely tree limbs, leaves, shingles. Hopefully nothing more than that, but it's certainly there. And now it's moving as we get another radar image in. It's moving into Roanoke County, just north of Boone's Mill. So we'll put the velocity back on. So Boone's Mill right now being hit by this potential tornado. And now it's moving further into Roanoke County. And here's the updated look on Viper. There you see it's following the damage path here, following the potential damage path. You can see it there across State Route 684. That's Boone's Mill Road, and going a little bit tighter here. Melody Lake, Donahue Cemetery, the wastewater pond number 1 in Boone's Mill, potentially being hit by this. Looks like Kennedy's is okay. St. Paul's Church is too. Boone Cemetery on the edge of this. So with Viper, we're able to go in really tight here and show you where this really is. State Route 1613 as well. So if it continues on this track, it's going to come very close to Route 824 off of Boone's Mill, and also Shorty Drive and Winding Way Road. I'll zoom it back out so you can get your bearings. So Rocky Mount now out of the tornado warning. That first warning allowed to expire. However, I would keep an eye on this other cell here that's near the intersection of 122 and, really near Burnt Chimney. That's about to cross the Blackwater River as well. It's not strong enough for a tornado warning yet, but it may intensify. But this tornado warning until 11:30 continues. Let me update our image here. All right, so that's until 11:30 for Boone's Mill and Roanoke, including Cave Spring. Utility fire on Grassy Hill Road. That's not surprising, given the fact that we had that track go right through there. Straight line winds and probably some trees down as well. Newest image from Viper shows still a moderate amount in the brighter green there near Boone's Mill of potential damaging wind. Let's see if the rotation is still there. Still there. If we go to our high-res radar picture, we're going to look. This is right now near 220, right as you go over the county line there at the bridge of Roanoke County, moving into Cave Spring and Starkey. It's raining to beat the band. We still do have a circulation with this. To me, it looks pretty healthy still. And there still may be just some debris in here as well. This is a look, it's kind of confusing to look at, but where you get into these brighter colors, that's where we're seeing a lot of rain that's bending the radar beam. This is probably rain that's probably creating some flooding, a lot of runoff issues, and of course you got the tornado warning as well. And it's kind of confusing because we do tell people when you're in a tornado warning to, if you live in a mobile home, that it's better to get into a ditch, and it is. But if you've got flash flooding around, you also need to be above the water level because you don't want to drown as well. And unfortunately, we've got the worst case scenario over us right now. These little contours here are picking up the rotation as well. That was earlier, about 5 or 10 minutes ago. So that shows where it just tracked. Here's kind of a clean look at this tornado warning. You see it's until 11:30. You see the areas that it covers. I like to show you that just so you don't get too confused by the spilled paint effect of all those colors on the radar screen. But this is radar indicated. There you see a track on it moving into Cave Spring and Salem by around 11:22 to 11:33. The warning doesn't go all the way to Salem. It goes to about 11:30, so that will put it right on the Salem Roanoke Cave Spring line there. But it's a very dangerous storm, and it's likely to try to maintain its structure as it crosses over 220, as it crosses into Roanoke County. You can see the topography up underneath this. There's a lot in the way of mountainous activity right over that. But in a situation like this where you've got tropical air interacting with lots of wind shear, you are going to see potentially tornadoes that just don't care about the topography. So we tell you that's a myth when they tend to form further away from the mountains. They will do that, but they also will form anywhere they need to, given the right setup. I'm kind of showing you here again the track of this thing. Developed first over northern Henry County, and developed in a few streaks here. So Snow Creek probably got some wind and stuff as well out of this. And it crosses all the way through Rocky Mount, crossed through Rocky Mount, kind of reformed and intensified. And you see that second area right through here near Union Hall and Redwood and Burnt Chimney. That's weakened a little bit. But you can see as it moved north of Rocky Mount, right on 220 there, and just off to the west of 220, the rotation actually intensified. That's why you see the yellows and the brighter yellows, and now into Boone's Mill in southern Roanoke County, including Roanoke City. I'll take you back and show you high-res roads here. Murray Knob, let's go back to camera 7. So Murray Knob, Boone's Mill now in the clear. The areas north of Boone's Mill around Murray Knob, still seeing that's where the circulation is. I'm going to look at our storm relative velocity here. And this is about to move close to Franklin Road in Roanoke. So Hunting Hills is right here. This is right up 220. Moving into southern Roanoke County right now, about to cross out of Franklin County into Roanoke County. Get into a safe place, a bathroom or an interior room or basement preferably. If you don't have a basement, a hallway, close those doors. Get into a bathroom if you don't have that. The plumbing in the walls tends to hold these walls up more. So there's Hunting Hills. This is the city of Roanoke. Includes all these areas. Here comes a live radar sweep. And the good news is the circulation is weakening some. There's some circulation here, but as it's crossing into Roanoke County, I do see some weakening going on. But earlier, yeah, that was a scary signature earlier in Franklin County. Here's Viper radar, and this shows us where the most intense part of the storm is. We've got rainfall of up to 2 to 5 inches in an hour right there on 220. And again, that moves right over Clearbrook, moving right toward that area there in Walmart, Buck Mountain Road. And State Route, NAF Road up State Route 614. Here's Back Creek Road right here. Hartman Cemetery, Pine Needles Drive. The area you want to avoid, State Route 615 in Roanoke County. Right near the railroad tracks there in the Roanoke. Right near the Parkway. And this is, I think, heading more into Cave Spring than it is Roanoke. If it weakens, it'll hit more Roanoke. If it strengthens, it'll move more toward the Cave Spring area. Got a tree down on Route 40, blocking one lane. Getting these reports of damage in now from Franklin County. And put a new storm track on this. Salem in 19 minutes, Mason's Cove in 29 minutes if it holds together. .220, the Route 221. A lot of rain in Cave Spring, probably some gusty winds in here as well. So I'd be taking shelter there. We widen it out a bit, and you can see that the rain is not raining everywhere. We do have some lighter rainfall in the blue, and even some breaks in this rainfall in some parts of the area. That's somewhat good news. The bad news is there's a lot more rain on the way. We'll widen it out here, and you can all the way zoom this out. You can see there's some drier air around Charlotte, Raleigh, and eastern North Carolina. This is going to try to work in throughout the night tonight. So we may have some diminishing activity in some areas and strengthening as the moisture continues to feed in. The only thing about that, dry air can sometimes make it more unstable and can increase the tornado threat. Flooding continues. All of these are flash flood warnings in Asheville, the western North Carolina mountains. We're up to 5, 6, 7 inches of rain has already fallen just today. And we've got more on the way because as you make your way to the south, look at all this rain in Georgia. It starts to get through here. And they've got a hurricane making landfall right now in the Big Bend of Florida. That's Helene. Winds of around 130, 140 miles per hour moving up. And some eye-wall tornado warnings for Valdosta into Madison area. Now this is going to be pushing in as a hurricane, and it will not be diminishing much as it crosses into the upstate of South Carolina. And really bad weather here is going to be coming up for us as we move a little bit closer into the morning hours, mid-morning to early afternoon for our areas where we're really concerned about this. Put our damaging wind path on here for you. It's one of my tabs. tree blocking 1/2 lane on the road there. This is our damaging wind product. It continues to show some damaging wind off Viper radar. That's 220, right on 220 again, so that's not a good spot. And that's where 220 meets State Route 615. And right as it comes out on Pine Needle Drive there toward Hartman Cemetery and Back Creek Road, probably some flooding going on as well. It's a lot of rain occurring there. Tornado warning continues until 11:30. This is an elongated area of rotation right now. Not as strong as it was earlier in Franklin County, but it's still there. The core of this right now in the Cave Spring. We put our base velocity on here, and it's more elongated, so I'm not too worried about that. I would watch Roanoke County just to be on the safe side, but it looks like that has now diminished quite a bit. Just a few flooding reports going on. We've got water flooding at the boat dock on Patton's Mill Drive in Grayson County. We've got rain that continues all up and down the North Carolina mountains here. And when you get into the nitty-gritty, it's easy to look at the radar and say it's not that bad, but when you really zoom in here, you do see these patches here of yellow and orange. That's tremendous rainfall given the fact that we have tropical air in place. And so what you're seeing is rain that's developing out of nowhere. It's hitting this upslope areas and really getting going fast across the area. I want to show you too the tornado parameters. I just put I put 2 posts out on Patreon just now. I would encourage you to join, and for $1 a month, and you can see a little bit more in the way of what's going on there. Here's our weather tap radar. And again, this also shows Cave Spring, very heavy rain there. Cave Spring, Starkey, near Lemondale, Jefferson Hills, Pinkert Court, Hunting Hills, Suncrest Heights there near the summit. That as you move into Roanoke City, southwest Roanoke up to Castle Rock, Pogues Mill is where the tornado warning is in effect. Does not include northern Roanoke County, although we are seeing some storm activity and some very heavy rain as well in the Windy Gap area of Franklin County. Now this is a look at the wind shear. Values of 30 plus or 35 plus, that's significant. You can see that's increased across the area, but we're not anywhere close to where we were yesterday. We had wind shear up to 55, 60 knots. That's going to change as we go through the night tonight. Notice these higher values move in the next 4 to 6 hours. We start getting up into the 35 to 45 knot wind shear. And if you can take a tornado out of 20 knot wind shear, you can certainly get one out of 45 knot wind shear. And that's what's coming up for us by tomorrow morning. The significant tornado parameter, or the violent tornado parameter, is low. This is a parameter that kind of looks at classic tornadoes in the Midwest. Doesn't really do a good job at our tornadoes here sometimes, but we notice the trend there. It's starting to go up across North Carolina, even though that's a low value. The amount of spin in the air is increasing. These helicity values between 50 and 100. Notice as we go through time that 200 line gets right up against Virginia by tomorrow morning. So that's some strong wind that'll be coming in. In fact, we can look at the wind at 5,000 feet and see it's out of the southeast at about 35 to 45 knots there in the blue. And as we advance that through here, you can see the 60 knot winds increasing and getting closer to the area. So this thing's going to come in as a tropical storm for tomorrow morning. It's going to hold together. And I think we are going to see power outages from this. We're going to see some flooding, and we're going to see more tornado warnings, I'm afraid. There's one more look at the wind shear. Again, it's just getting going, and it will get worse into the night tonight. So this is now. We will advance this and show it getting worse all night tonight into tomorrow. Very high levels of moisture coming in out of the east. That's why you're seeing tornado warnings. We got an east wind at the surface. 5,000 feet, it's southeast. 10,000 feet, it's south. 18,000 feet, it's south-southwest. And more of a southwest there in the jet stream level. This purple here is where the winds are favoring divergence aloft, and that tends to get a lot of lift going as well. Tornado warning continues for Cave Spring and Roanoke County. The worst of this is right on the west side of Roanoke City. So it's off past Melrose and the Grandin there, nearing the Salem area, although Salem is not under the tornado warning. This is as of 11:18. That circulation has weakened quite a bit. In fact, if I advance it here, I don't see much. I still see a little signature there near the Starkey area. Maybe some, yeah, it's not really holding together all that much. So that's good news, although there's some cells that I'm watching near Windy Gap Mountain going toward Vinton that I'd be watching for as well. So I'm going to sign off for right now. I'm going to put out a couple other posts, and I'll put a link to my Patreon updates that have just come out as well. We'll look at that exclusive Viper radar forecast to show you what's going on. Still watching this cell, though, right there, northern Franklin County.